Hi everyone, this is Yanelis with PenPals for Life. Today I come to you to talk about the most requested topic. That is tips to write a first letter. It seems everyone is kind of afraid to write that first letter, to take the initiative to write it. I found myself to be into one of two situations. Now there's some people who really enjoy writing letters, while others don't like it at all. And I find myself, like I stated in the first part, where I do enjoy it. Why, you might ask? I really find it fascinating telling a future friend about myself, and don't find it that difficult or boring. I think it's because of my 22 plus years of experience with pen paling. Now I think there's plenty of stuff to write about in a first letter. Lots of details you can describe and about yourself and your surroundings. So the first letter is always the key to starting a new friendship. Now in the first letter, you have the chance to present yourself in a way that your future pen pal should think you are a person worth to know. Don't ruin your only possibility of making a good impression of yourself by writing an interesting, awful, boring text or a letter of very poor quality. And hopefully the tips that I provide to you today will help you have that first letter be wonderful. Now the first thing that I think you should do on your first letters, of course, is to present yourself, which means you tell them about your name, your origin of your name if you know, your age. I would keep the year private for safety reasons. When is your birthday? If there's a special occasion, when is your birthday? But don't be scared when writing about these, as you might lack the core of your presentation. Now you have to be chatty and develop it in a way that is successful and not boring. Number two, tell about the place you were born, where you come from, where you moved, where you grew up in. Maybe right now you live in a place that is different than those that you grew up in or you were raised. So you of course want to talk about all of that and see, maybe you have places that you lived in together or lived in the same location before. You want to talk about your family, of course, your partner, your children, and your family. Maybe you have a favorite member of your family whom you share pen paling with, so you want to go ahead and talk about that. And of course, these are all topics that you could continue further into it as you further your friendship in upcoming letters. Now you want to mention your work, your studies. Maybe you have the same degree or pursuing the same degree. Maybe you have the same work ethics, the same work that you guys do. So you can introduce your work or your studies to that first letter. Now mention your other things besides work. Maybe your favorite movies, your favorite music. Now one of the things that I don't find interesting in first letter, which a lot of people do, and I find it quite boring, is listing a huge list of your favorite movies or a huge list of your favorite musicians. I find that a little boring. I think you should choose 1 to 2 favorite artists or 1 to 2 favorite movies in your first letter. And then as you continue to write each other, you can throw in a few movies here and there or a few shows here and there. But when you send a whole list of all your favorites, it kind of gets a little boring, and people tend to skip through that sometimes. Now you want to write about things that you like, your hobbies and your different interests. And then maybe in there you find the same interests within each other. You also want to develop some individual likings in your letter. You want to talk about what you expect through this new friendship. I think it's very important that you express what you're expecting of this new friendship. If you're a person that wants to write 6-7 pages at a time, you should talk about that. If you're trying to communicate every month, every 6 months, those are things that you should include in your first letter. So that way everybody just knows everything that's going on. You can be on the same page. Now you can also throw in there some random stuff you might like besides your hobby. And then somebody else in the corner of the other side of the world might be also in those random likes that you do. Now one of the things that I think is very important is that you do not make your first letter 3 or 4 pages long. I think your first letter should be top 2 pages. where you give enough information about yourself and your surrounding and your friendship, but at the same time you leave space for those future letters for you to communicate. So I'm going to just do a little recap here. You should definitely present yourself. You should tell them about the place you come from, where you were born, grew up, where you lived if you move, or even the places you lived throughout the years. You should talk about your family, very short and sweet, and also any pets that you might have. You should mention about your studies or your work, and you also want to write about things that you like doing, your hobbies and your different interests. And you also want to develop some random stuff about you. So thank you very much for watching this video. First of all, I want to say thank you to my husband, who he's been helping me through this video, so thank you. Thank you to you for watching this video and for being part of Pen Pals for Life. This is Yanelis signing off. Peace.